Good evening and welcome to Main Street Sports, episode 28. Tonight is our Seniors 2020 Part 2, and we appreciate everybody being on. Ray Halbrook here from Livestream STL, and thanks for watching tonight, and we appreciate everybody jumping on the Facebook waves here already, and we've got a stacked deck tonight. I say that as a joke because we have quite a few coaches on here, and Jeff Whitener, I'm going to open the lineup here for you. Jeff, are you there, my friend?
I am here, Ray. How are you this evening?
Awesome, and we got a good lineup here, don't we?
We sure do, Ray. Of course, tonight we're continuing to honor the high school baseball and softball athletes, seniors who, they didn't get their final turns at bat this spring. And we're gonna do something about that tonight. We're gonna have our coaches talk about their seniors, what they've meant to their program, and continue to honor these kids. And before we get started, though, with the coaches, I'm extremely excited that we're joined tonight by this young man, a mentor of mine in the business. He's a local talker. He's a newsie. He's a lover of permanent things in Jefferson County. He's also the host of Jeffco This Week on KJEF Radio here in Festus. Welcome, Stuart McMillan, a.k.a. Chat with Stu Mack on Twitter and the chatwithstumack.com website. Welcome, Stuart.
Wow, thank you so much for that introduction. I didn't pay him for that, if you're wondering. But hey, Jeff and Ray, thanks so much for having me alongside. I'm really excited to be on Livestream STL in tonight's show.
Well, thanks for coming in. Our coaches this evening, and we continue our coaching carousel as we go around our local county schools and have these coaches have an opportunity to come in and talk about their players. We are joined tonight by Matt Beesting. He's the head baseball coach at DeSoto. Jeff Ketcherside, who is the head baseball coach at Grandview. Don Jeffries, who is the the softball coach at Grandview, as well as the athletic and activities director there at Grandview. Jeff Montgomery, well-known head baseball coach and softball coach at Festus. Dan Oliver, head baseball coach and football coach at St. Pius. Eric Pavaronico, pardon me, I knew I would do that, head softball coach at Crystal City. And we have coming up a taped interview at the end of our show because he wasn't able to be on live tonight. Brian Weebly, the head baseball coach at Crystal City. Before we get started, though, honoring our senior athletes, we have just a few questions, and Stuart's going to lead these off, these questions for our coaches. So take it away, Stu.
All right, Jeff, thanks. So we received this news this morning, some kind of disheartening news regarding the cancellation of the American Legion baseball season. So we wanted to kind of throw this out to all the coaches and see their reactions. So, guys, how does this affect some of your players this year? Anybody can answer that one.
I know for me, it's disappointing. I know a lot of our kids, a lot of kids in the county were really looking forward to maybe getting a chance to play this summer and kind of holding on to some hope there. And, it's disappointing. I know it's a tough decision the Legion Association has to make, and maybe some creative baseball still take place somewhere in the summer. I know a lot of our kids, especially our juniors and seniors, juniors are looking to get some on the field stuff, where they can video for recruiting and things like that, and then seniors the last chance to play. So it's a pretty tough day to see that taken away.
Absolutely. How about Coach Oliver? A little different. You only have one senior, but obviously you have kids coming up through the system that play Legion ball. Have you had a chance to talk to any of your athletes today after the decision came down?
No, I haven't really talked to anybody, but it's like they already lost one season, and now it's like they lost their second, another shot at it, and so it's disappointing, and kind of. I've always lived in this area, but, coming down here to coach and, the baseball is so strong in the summers down here where it's not quite as strong as far as the Legion programs and stuff in the St. Louis County. But So I was really looking forward to, maybe catching a few games this summer, seeing my guys improve and things like that. And, really at this point, just seeing some baseball would be great, period.
That's for sure. Coach Ketcherside, do you have any the kids in your program are playing at DeSoto or some of the places?
Yeah, I got two playing at DeSoto. One playing over for Zach over at Festus. Another one is going to play. I'm not sure. He's a senior. I'm not sure where he's playing at. And then they're playing all Legion. So being younger, freshman and sophomore heavy on my players, it's really tough. I mean, they've already lost the baseball season, and now they might lose the summer. I kind of reached out to some of the parents a little bit. They've already asked, a couple of them's already asked me about maybe if there's any way we could do some pitching and hitting and stuff during the summer if they're not going to be able to play. I don't even know what's going to happen. Who knows with select? I got a boy that plays for the Gamers. I don't know if they're going to play or not or what. So we just got to see what happens. I told him I didn't know what was going to happen. It's kind of an unknown is a hard thing. You can't plan for the unknown.
That's absolutely correct, Coach. Coach Biesing, I'm sure you've got some guys that play summer ball and also might play for SMCI down there in DeSoto. How's it affecting your core group of athletes?
Well, the biggest way that's affecting us right now is I think 5 of our 6 seniors were going to be playing Legion ball, and I think 4 of them were trying to get, kind of banking on that to get some looks for recruiting and things like that. There's only one of them was signed, but and I really thought that we could get at least 3 others the opportunity to get some college ball somewhere. And again, just like everybody, we're kind of up in the air and don't know what the future is going to look like. And that's probably the hardest part of this is just sit around and wait. And, hopefully maybe something can get put together where these kids can get a look. I don't know if in a form of like a showcase or something like that, just so some coaches can get a look at some guys maybe down the road. But right now it's just kind of wait to see what happens.
Well, that's a great idea. We hope we can somewhere down the line here give these kids some looks, like you said, have some coaches come in, and if they can't travel in, maybe get some video on these kids for sure, because they deserve to have that chance to get a shot at playing at the next level, whatever it is, and we certainly echo those sentiments, Coach. Now, on Monday, Governor Parsons announced, obviously, his intentions. He wants to reopen the state for business and leisure starting Monday. And his order includes the following section that they talked about traditional summer activities, such as utilizing aquatic facilities, community centers, fitness centers, libraries, organized athletics, and camps. They wanted those to take place, and we're encouraging those as long as they are adjusting to mitigate the risks of contracting and spreading COVID-19 between the parents and participants, patrons of that nature. My question is, and I want to start with Don, being an athletic director, has there been any talk yet about the schools or your district or any other districts in the area possibly opening up again, opening their gyms, opening their facilities up to summer training at all, to practices, to summer leagues? Have we heard anything yet about that, Don?
At this point, I mean, you got to be able to live real life before you can even start to think about a lot of these things. Let's see how this initial wave of reopening things goes. You can't do anything in a school until, for us, for example, May 21st would be when the summer would officially start at Grandview. When spring sports were canceled and all these things occurred, it said that no training or anything could take place at a school while a school is closed. And I'm sure that many of the coaches have probably gotten the same words through press releases or communications with their administration and things like that. So maybe by May 21st, we're living in a different world. It seems like the world changes day to day. But when I look at this, you're still going to have to probably maintain that social distancing. You're probably going to have a very limited amount of individuals that could be a part of a workout. Maybe what we're going to have to do is schedule more skill position specific type of training opportunities. Instead of having your whole basketball team there, you have, okay, we're going to work on guard play, and these kids could come in for this. Or we're going to work on pitching or catching or whatever. But again, until we can live real life, and it's going to have to be extremely structured. But again, we haven't really discussed anything as far as what anything would look like. And we've got to be able to function on campus with students normally before we can even start to have those conversations, I think.
Wise words, and that's why I wanted to get that out there. I know it's wishful thinking on my part, and I wanted to put that question out there. I'm looking for any light at the end of the tunnel, and any positive news that we can come up with. That's something to look forward to. But you're right; it is we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, and we have to see how this is going to play out. Eric, is your spring softball girls? Obviously, a lot of the ladies play summer ball too. Have you had any indication from your players and your team that they're going to be able to do anything this summer with their leagues and teams?
Yeah, actually, I actually coach my daughter's team. She's it's an 18U team, and we actually just got an email, I guess, right after Parsons released that. And it said that the tournament director is in the process. So, like right now, she's trying to go. Like there was a tournament we were supposed to play in Chesterfield, and but like it's scheduled to Farmington now, May 9th. And then she's just kind of waiting to hear from the organizations where those fields are to see if they will allow her to schedule these tournaments. But as far as USSSA and stuff like that, they are. Like I said, it's a week-to-week thing, kind of like what Jeffrey said. But, the problem is finding somewhere to practice because, we were going to practice at either at Windsor or Crystal City, but we can't because, like Coach Jeffrey said, we can't be on those facilities until, like Windsor was out May 28th. So we can't do anything until after that date. So, it's just trying to find somewhere to practice. And, again, the social distancing but we do as for a coach, as for a select, they keep giving us emails on how to kind of mitigate those things, when you're no more handshakes and stuff like that as you're walking through at the end of the game and things like that, which, I don't understand how that would work when you're using the same ball. But no, as far as these tournaments and things, they, like, for example, there's a couple in Perryville and Farmington and things. And so it's just, to me, it's going to be interesting to see how many teams actually try to play because of this going on.
How are you supposed to hold a runner on at first base?
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, I mean,
how you gonna bat? You got the umpire, the catcher, and the batter all within 3 or 4 feet of each other.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I was kind of surprised. When we got this email, like I said, it was 3 days ago. Actually, I was kind of reading over it now just to. Because I had a feeling that this question was going to come up. But she says here that I've decided to stay clear of those counties as they have a higher number of cases. So, again, like you said, you got some players that are going to be within 2 to 3 feet of each other. So,
yeah, I don't know how they're going to be able to work that out.
Maybe a wide strike.
I think you got to be creative with something like this, where you'd almost have. Remember the old NBC Superstars competition, where they would work on certain skills. I think maybe you could do something similar in a baseball sense with like a fielding competition, arm strength. I mean, if you want to have like a conference team or something like that these kids didn't get a chance to be a part of. I mean, that's the only way you could do it is a display of skills. And where are you going to be able to do that? And who's going to be able to host something like that? And what are going to be the logistics of something like that? Because playing a game under what the current guidelines are is pretty much an impossibility.
Yeah, unless they all have to wear a cloth mask under their helmet or something. That's but come July and you're wearing a face mask and a cloth mask, these poor kids are going to be sweating.
That's not going to work.
No.
But, Stu, do you want to go ahead and ask the coaches about number 3 there? Kind of a open-ended question, I guess.
Yeah, just a second here. I was thinking about how impossible this all sounds to be able to play any baseball as far as high school sports is concerned. And it is a shame to all these older guys, the seniors that aren't going to be able to do this. And, and I know you guys are all thinking of ways and trying to figure out ways to be able to do something to give their kind of senior year some meaning. But and I might have more on that in just a minute. But speaking of this experience and what it's taught you about your players and staff, because you're having to do different things right now because of all this COVID stuff. So what has this taught you about your players, your staff, yourself, professionally, even personally? I guess we'll start there. There's a second part of that question I can follow up with. Let's see. Who hasn't been talking a whole lot here? Coach Ketchersad, I don't think I've heard from you in a minute. So can you address that?
Well, on the players' part, I've kind of one of the seniors, and I won't say a name or which one it was, but after the school shut down, he had sent me a personal message on through the group me, just me and him, and pretty much opened up a little bit. So said stuff that I never thought I'd hear him say that showed me how much of a growth he did as a young man, and it really touched me. And you realize that you go through practices and stuff, and you push sometimes, and you think maybe that they go home and just hate you, and they just playing because they love baseball. But then you realize maybe you have touched them more than just on the baseball field side of it, and it's nice when you feel something like that. And so that was one. A lot of them, I'm getting I'm getting some that are sending me videos of them working out at home, throwing and hitting in nets and off the tees and stuff at their home. And that shows me that, it's that the message I've been sending is they're buying into it, and it's not that with all this going on. I mean, I know they have to stay at home, but it's just as easy to stay inside and play video games. But, I'm getting kids that are showing me they're working out, showing me they're working out, showing me they're throwing, showing me they're hitting off a tee. They send me videos and stuff on that. And I think that's awesome. That's nice to see that your message is getting across to them that, baseball season just doesn't start when the last week of February, first week of March, mm-hmm. and that they want you to see that they are working out. I mean, that's what's nice, they're wanting to not so much get your approval, but show you, hey, coach, I'm here, I'm in it, and I like that.
Coach Beesting, is that have you felt kind of the same thing in your situation in DeSoto?
Yeah, we try to keep in contact with them as much as we possibly can, at least, through the baseball side of things. I know they've got schoolwork that they're trying to keep up with, especially, our seniors, making sure that they're doing what they need to do to graduate in a completely different setting. So, I mean, their world's been turned upside down, just like ours. But, we talk to our guys all the time when they come in as freshmen. Hey, your clock's starting right now. And at some point that clock's going to run out, whether it's the end of high school or if you're lucky enough to go on and play college baseball, eventually it's going to stop somewhere. This is, the first time, I've felt that as a player, but as a coach, this is a very weird situation because, you sit here and our clock's kind of stopped too. We don't know when the next time we're going to have the chance, to be with our kids and when to coach them. I think that's kind of the the eerie kind of feeling of this whole thing is, when are we going to get back, in the classroom and then on the field.
Mm-hmm. Coach Dan Oliver, I wanted to ask you this same question, but kind of the second part of that question was, has it changed your perspective now on the role of sports in general? Just this atmosphere where we've had no school and you've had to connect with the kids in a little different way.
I don't know if it's changed my perspective on sports. I mean, I've done this for about 34 years. And so, I just enjoy being with the kids. But I tell you, the other day, we had the kids come in and bring in their uniforms and helmets and things that we had checked out to them. And they came into the little vestibule there and in between the doors, and just seeing them and talking to them and stuff, you just realize, how much, fun you have with them and just talking to them and finding out how they're getting along and some of the little nagging injuries they had when we last talked and things like that and how they're coming with that. And it's just, you miss those things that, it keeps us young, it keeps us out there and, gets us, the old guys, to be a part of the game still. And, that's what I think why we all do this is just because, it keeps us connected and it keeps us with those young people and so we can operate these technology things so we can do your interviews.
And Coach, it is wonderful. Technology is wonderful. I mean, we could sit. Yeah. I'm sitting in my basement right now, talking to you all. It's amazing. Have you had the same experience, Coach Montgomery, with Festus? Have you had the same experience being able to connect with the students and the players and even the staff, maybe on a little bit different level than you normally would?
Yeah, something this year, with this happening. I called all 4 seniors, talked to them a good while on the phone, just to kind of have that talk, and try to explain to them, listen, this, you got to stay positive. This is a global pandemic. This is something that hasn't happened in 100 years. And there are a lot of people struggling in the world right now. And so I think trying to explain that to kids to keep things in perspective, is important. I think a lot also missed is our parents. The parents, they kind of see the big picture of all this. They've been around for a while and they know how much these opportunities mean. And so I really feel bad for our parents. I talked to a lot of them on the phone too. And it's a difficult time for them to realize that these games and these opportunities are lost.
Well, I think you echo the sentiments there of all of us, Coach, and not only just the coaches, the media, the parents, everybody. And I think that the perspective is correct. It still doesn't change the fact that I'm just heartbroken that there's no baseball, but I know that you guys share all of that same opinion also. If we could, let's go ahead and start going into talking about our senior athletes. And if you don't mind, we'll start with Matt Beesting at DeSoto. Coach Beesting has the largest number of seniors of our coaching staff tonight. And Coach, if you could, just going to go through each name here, and if you will take the time to talk a little bit about these guys, certainly some guys that I've gotten to see play. We'll start off with Cameron Brooks.
Yeah, Cameron, he signed to go play baseball at Fontbonne this coming year, and he's one of the guys that was fortunate enough to be signed and move on. He's was going to be a big part of our lineup. He probably hit somewhere between the 3 or 4 spot for us, and was going to be our everyday right fielder and then pitch here or there for us. But he had a great year as a junior, and I know he was looking forward to, because once that college is figured out where they're going, they can relax a little bit. And I was kind of really excited to see what kind of senior year he would have. He's a guy that played with us since he was a sophomore, and it was one of those things that having 3 years of varsity experience is a big deal, and I think that he was ready to have a big year, and I'm just fortunate he couldn't have it.
Well, another great athlete on your list of seniors we want to talk about, of course, is Briar Fisher.
Yeah, Briar, he does a lot for just our sports in general at DeSoto. You know, he's our quarterback on the football team, and he is probably one of the best leaders that I've been around. And he every day, and this is I've talked to our team and mostly our seniors. This is probably the first year I felt that you could come in the dugout, you could throw some baseballs on the field and go have a seat, and they would be able to conduct a practice, get something done, and I would feel perfectly okay with it because that's the type of leader, and in Briar and Cameron both right at the head of that, and where always their voice was heard. Briar was probably going to be our number one arm this year, and he was going to be in the middle of our lineup as well and play first base for us. And, again, both of those two will be greatly missed.
Well, we'll miss calling their games for sure. Another gentleman I'm familiar with is Parker Grovey. Talk a little bit about Parker, if you would.
Parker, as a junior, didn't get much playing time, but he is probably one of the hardest workers that we have in the program. He is always trying to get better, and I think he was going to probably get a shot this year to get some playing time. And probably out of all six there, he is probably the hardest one. The one I've been constantly thinking about is because of how much time he puts in the off season. He always shows up to our off season workouts, and he's just a guy that you can rely on. And he was going to probably get an opportunity to play some second base for us this year and pitch for us as well. But I remember him as a freshman coming into the program. He was undersized, not very fast, and now he's a senior and has bulked up, put on quite a bit of size, and his speed has improved. And I think he was, going to have the opportunity to have a pretty good year this spring.
Yeah, those we back in those sentiments a couple times. The juniors that worked hard to come in this year, their senior season, and really make a point. That almost hurts worse than anything else, I'll tell you. What about Garrett Harden? Can you talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, Garrett, last year as a junior was kind of our utility guy. We played him at third. He played some time in the outfield for us, DH'd a few games, but I think he's going to get the majority of the innings at third base this year for us. And again, he's a guy that didn't strike out much, so he's going to be probably the middle part of our lineup. And he's another one that he's a two-sport kid. He played football, and he loved the weight room. Really has got a lot bigger and stronger. Really, all these seniors have really bought into the off-season work, and it really had started to show. I mean, we had our preseason scrimmage. We were fortunate enough to at least get that in a little bit of a game situation before this all went down. And, the way the ball was popping off their bats, there was some excitement there. And Garrett was right in the middle of it. He's a hard-nosed kid. Playing third base at DeSoto, you have no idea where that ball is going to go a lot of the time. He'll chest up, they'll take it right in the forehead, pick it up, and throw a guy out. He's just one of those gritty players that you love to coach.
Well, I know we don't have pictures to put up for the next two guys, but let's talk about him anyway. Grant Kite.
Grant, again, he was one that got just a little bit of spot time as a junior. Last year, we were trying to kind of figure out what would be the best spot for him. We tried him on the mound. He threw extremely hard, and he had put in a lot of time. I think he was going to be able to get some relief innings for us on the mound this year, but he was probably going to be our starting left fielder. He's one of those guys that you see him step off the bus, you take notice. He's a very athletic kid, does a lot of things well, and he was going to get an opportunity to swing the bat, play some left field. He runs well, real kind of a long body, and we were going to work him into our bullpen. But he's one of those guys that would have really would have been nice to have his senior year, because I think he's one of those guys. Just if you look at him, some colleges had already contacted me in the off season, and he hadn't really even had 15 high school at bats, so he kind of passes that eye test. And he's one too that always at everything shows up, works hard, always asks if there's anything else he can do after practice, and usually he's one of the guys you have to run out in the locker room so you can finally go home at the end of the day. But he's going to be one of those guys that we're going to miss.
Well, Coach, finally we have Corey Gibbs on your list of seniors that we want to honor and talk about today.
Corey came back to us. He played for us at the varsity level and caught for us some as a sophomore. Did not play as a junior, and then came back this year. I think he missed the game. And, he was probably going to get some innings behind the plate for us. And we were going to try to work him in on the mound as well a little bit. He's a guy that had a pretty live arm. And, I was glad to see him come back out because he's a kid that, before he did not come out as a junior, we talked to him, trying to get him to come out and not give up his junior year. But, he's a good kid. He's heavily involved in our in school. He's going to be a successful guy down the road no matter what he does, but I think he was looking forward just to get it one more go before the baseball career was finished.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time out tonight to come in and talk about these guys and honor them in one of the only ways we can right now, unfortunately. But we certainly appreciate you coming in, and let's hope this is the last time we have to interview you in your basement.
I would be perfectly okay with that, for sure.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach. We're going to shift gears now, and Stuart's going to talk a little bit to Jeff Countryside and his Grandview baseball seniors.
Thanks, Jeff. And now to Jeff, another Jeff. There are a lot of Jeffs on the broadcast tonight. Maybe I should just be called Jeff, too. That'd be a lot easier. We just call everybody Jeff. Coach Countryside, Grandview, tell us about Dylan Barker, first off.
Dylan was a kid that played freshman and sophomore year. He started right field for us his freshman year. Sophomore year, he come in, plugged him at third base, played really well, pitched for us some in relief his sophomore, did really well. He one of his best games he pitched when he come in. He likes to come in relief. Sometimes if I said he was going to start and he knew he was coming in, he thought about it too much. So it was nice it was easier to bring him out just at the spur of the moment or off the third base and bring him in. He threw a lot better and had a really good relief appearance last year against Zach and Herky over at GCS. And last year he's a plug and play. He was going to come back, play third base, be one of our pitchers. And Dylan's into motocross, and he ended up buying him a new motorcycle last year. And he made a decision. He wanted to, he needed to work to help pay for it. And, I had a talk with him and I said, you sure you want to do this? And I said, I think you're going to, this year, his junior year would have been a good year for him. I think he probably maybe could have made some postseason honors. And he said, yeah, it's something I got to do. I talked to mom and dad and I said, well, that's fine. If you decide you come back next year, you're more than welcome. And, to me, it meant something. To me, it was a good sign because to me, I think that, we're training we're teaching boys, young men, not only just to be baseball players, but to make choices in life. And kids, they'll learn it. They're going to have to make their own choices sometimes sooner or later. And he made a choice and he was fine. I was fine with it and he was fine with it. It worked out for him. And then he decided to come back this year as a senior, and it was another deal where plug and he was going to go right in third base and do some pitching for us, coming out and do relief pitching. And we were lucky enough. I mean, we had our preseason and we ended up having our jamboree. And from the first time he come in, when we started doing some infield drills and some work and stuff, it was pretty much business as usual for him. A little bit of rust to be knocked off, but that's to be expected. Threw well for us, bullpen wise, in preseason, and threw an inning in a jamboree. And it's just a shame that he couldn't do his senior year where he could really prove that what kind of a ball player I know he is. And great kid, plays football, hard worker. I was lucky enough to coach his older brother and him both, and both of them are just. They're one of them kids that will run through a fence for you, run through a brick wall for you. And there's no doubt that he'll go on and will do whatever he wants to do after high school's over with. So great kid, really great kid. He's he's a kid that one of them kids gets along with everybody on the team. They all love him. So it's just a shame that, after missing his junior year, he couldn't come back and play the senior year. He doesn't really play summer ball, but it's a shame. I wish him the best for later on, whatever he decides to do.
So motocrosser turned baseball player. Very, very interesting there with Mr. Barker. Let's move on to Ethan Mollard, if I have that correctly.
Yeah, Ethan. Well, Ethan is another one. He started it all 3 years. He started in his freshman year, started in left field. Sophomore year, moved to right field, or moved to center for us, a starting center fielder. This year he'd come in. He was our number one pitcher. He pitched a lot last year, and he could have had a really special season this year. He's worked a lot with pitching coach, hitting coach, and worked hard. He unfortunately, I'm not one to specialize, but fortunately only does baseball, but he does it all year round. But I wish he would play more stuff. But he played football the first couple of years in high school and then just concentrated on baseball. But just a stud hitter, left-handed, throws left-handed, got a live arm. He would have been our number one pitcher, starting center fielder. I said we had our little tribute to the seniors, and I said I was looking forward to him this year from what I've seen preseason. Him throwing in the workouts we have before the season, and then after when we started the season, and then in Jamboree, I think he pitched Jamboree, pitched one inning and went down 1, 2, 3 with nine pitches. I mean, he was just lights out, and hit a 3-run home run in Jamboree. I think that some of the bigger names, and rightly so, the Duncan kid, the Eversole kid, some of them kids. But I think I was hoping that to see what he did stacked up against him stat-wise and maybe push him a little bit for the small school MVP. He's been sophomore and junior year. He's been a all-conference player. So I was looking forward to him to having a really monster year this year. I think we've been in talks. I think he's hopefully we get him. I think it's in the works, and I think maybe he's going to go down and play down MAC. We'll see that. We'll see about that. So okay. I've talked to MAC a little bit on the MAC side, and they're interested, and he'd like to play down there. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, we'll see how the future pans out for Mr. Mollard, and hopefully he gets to go down there and play some more ball. What about Colin Combs?
Colin is a great kid. He didn't play baseball. This was his first year playing high school, and I don't think I'm not sure. I think he hasn't played probably since, I don't know, maybe 4th, 5th, 6th grade, something like that. Great kid.
All right.
He come in, and when you get kids like that come into your program, you're worried about maybe watch it. You got to have to kind of watch him. Hopefully, about getting hurt, stuff like that. But he was one to come in, and I didn't know how long he would last, to tell you the truth. I thought, well, maybe he's just doing this on a whim. But no, he come in and worked hard, took instruction very well, was one to just listen. And he was working with Coach Gutnack, my assistant, that does outfield work, worked with him, just listened, did exactly what he's supposed to do. And he just kind of wanted to stay and be part of the team, And I really regret, that he didn't have a chance to experience a sports season. He hadn't played other sports before, and to me, that tells us something about that tells a lot about a kid's character when he has never played before. Come in and he's, a lot of the kids, are. Because they've played more games, a lot more. They played that their talent level might be above them, but he worked hard, stayed with them, got along with the kids great. Kids rooted him on stuff, as far as when we were in the cage or whatnot. helped him out, showing him stuff, and just an awesome kid, fun kid to be around, and we go to I think it's one thing, he just, like I said, he just kind of wanted to be part of the team, be around the guys, and we always go to down in Kentucky to a wood bat tournament, and that's a good time for him, bonding time and stuff. We played 3 games down there, but it's kind of a fun time for all the kids, and he missed out on that. I think he would have really enjoyed that. And like I said, character-wise, that shows something when a kid comes in, and it's easy to go. It's easy for a kid to do that, and after a couple practices, say, "Coach, this ain't for me. I'm going home. This ain't for me." No, I didn't have that with him at all. In fact, I had, what can I do? What there's everything. What do I need to do different, or am I doing all right? Yeah, you're doing fine. I mean, when a kid will listen and take the instruction and take that instruction and do it exactly the way you tell them, they're going to be fine. I mean, he got engaged to play some. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play in a jamboree, which kind of he had some other commitments, so he didn't have the practices in. He's in a big in his church music thing and choir, and plays music, an instrument, and so he had to kind of miss a couple things because of that. So unfortunately, he didn't play in the jamboree, so he never really got to play any at all, except for practices, But it's a shame on that part. I was really looking forward to having him around all year, and he's one of them kid. He's like a kid that you give him a task, just give him a job, even during the game, even though if he's not playing. If you would give him a job, this is your job. You're gonna do our pitch counter. You're gonna you got the foul balls, or you got whatever equipment you got to do. He was happy to do that. He just wanted to be part of the program, and I enjoy kids like that sometimes. I mean, them kids, they make the team. They make the team a team a lot of times. You know what I mean? So, and he'll be fine. I think he's into music, and he's into his church and stuff, and I wish him the best of luck after school, after he goes out, whatever he's going to do. And with that determination that he showed me, I think he'll be fine in life. That's what, and it's all said and done, that's the main thing. As long as I think that they're going to, or in my opinion, if I think, they're going to make it in life, that's what's best. So.
Yeah, that's a great point, and great way to kind of honor the seniors too, and being able to talk about them and talk about even their future endeavors. Well, Coach Ketcherside, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And for all of Grandview baseball, hopefully we can get back on the diamond next year and kind of regroup on things. But thanks so much for your thoughts on that. I believe it's time for a break. We're going to go to Grandview softball next with Coach Jeffries, but I think we're going to take a break.
That is true. We are going to take a break, and we will be right back.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all sports. That. I have a lot of friends that are head basketball coaches, and I've been of course around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key. We appreciate everybody watching tonight's Seniors 2020 Main Street Sports, and I want to thank you so much again for watching. We have quite a few of our great sponsors tonight, like Chris Schweigert. He's back over at the Venti Beauty Bar. Chris Schweigert, call for an appointment. Give him a call, 314-610-5523. Again, Chris Schweigert over at the Venti Beauty Bar, and Tara James over at Coldwell Banker Gundaker. Tara James, we love her. She's been one of our great sponsors throughout the seasons here. Give her a call, 573-535-8038, located at 502 South Truman in Festus, Missouri. You can be sold while sanitizing. Give Tara James a call at Coldwell Banker Gundaker. Finally, don't forget, we have a new channel here. We've got quite a few different outlets, but one cool channel here we've got going on here is our Roku channel through the TKDS Sports Network. And if you're interested in getting that, it is $4.99 a month, $4.99. Where can you do that? Come on now, $4.99. It's videos.tkdssports.com. That's where you need to log into, and you can get the live stream STL Roku channel for $4.99 a month. Just check that out. And we're going to start our second segment here. We're going to bring the guys back in. And I've got Jeffrey Whitener. You're going to take this next segment. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, just call me Jeffrey the rest of the night. That way we can differentiate.
Well, that's what it says on your. That's what it says on your. It says that on your little square up here. We're like Hollywood Squares -1 right now.
That's right.
So there you go.
Before we get started with Don, I just want to go back to the Roku channel real quick, Ray.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest benefits of the Roku channel, obviously all of our videos and will be and shows will be archived on the channel. But the biggest advantage that I see, and well worth that $4.99 a month, is the picture quality, the video and audio quality is tremendous. I've got it up on my big screen right now. I'm watching us on the Roku channel.
How about that?
And I have my laptop here. I have us on our YouTube channel live, and then of course I'm talking with you all through the Zoom. So I don't want to give you the idea that I am somehow a technological genius. It took me a long time to figure all that out. But, anyway, we'll get over to Don Jeffries. And Don, always a pleasure to have you on the show. You always articulate things so well. We get to finally talk about the spring softball ladies a little bit. And certainly with Grandview, right off the bat, there's some ladies that we are very familiar with here on Livestream STL. Some ladies that had a big impact on your basketball program for sure. But leading off, so to speak, Jordan Zoff. Talk about Jordan a little bit.
All of these young ladies, all four of these seniors are, first of all, they're great kids. They're great students. One of the biggest accomplishments we had as a program last year, we had the 4th best GPA amongst teams that play spring softball last year. And all of these young ladies, I mean, they're taking AP courses, dual credit, all those type of things. And we're real excited about them as softball players, don't get me wrong, but we're even more excited about them as people, because we know that they're great students. They're gonna be great employees. They're gonna be great wives, great mothers, because they have such high character and high expectations for themselves and everyone around them. Jordan's off is our first senior, and Jordan, next year she's going to be going to MAC. I just found that out from her dad this past week. In fact, she's going to be throwing the javelin for MAC. And Jordan is a multi-sport athlete during the spring. She's our school record holder for throwing the javelin. Has gone to state 2 years in a row. Probably would have been a third time this year for the javelin, but obviously that did not occur. And then she's also, for us, was going to be our catcher this year. Last year, she started out as an infielder for us, and then the young lady that we had catching for us moved to the mound because we had a pitching injury, and our catcher had to make a move, and we had to move someone to catcher, and Jordan then did an outstanding job behind the plate. And she's just, like I said, a great kid. Last year, she was second team all-district as an infielder, mainly because when she's in the batter's box, she got the job done more times than she didn't. Had a batting average of .472, Her on-base percentage was .635. She was second in our team in RBIs with 18, and also considering she missed a few games because when track meets and softball games were a mesh, she was going to be throwing the javelin that day with her being a state qualifier. When I think of Jordan's off, I hate to do this to Coach Veronico here, but I think of Crystal City because we had a battle with Crystal City last year at our place that went 11 innings, and Jordan got a hit in the bottom of the 11th with a nice line drive to right center field off the fence, and Natalie Moore came around to score from first base to close out that victory for us. And she had the last hit in that game, and then when we played Crystal City in a game that you guys actually broadcast, she ended up with the final out at home plate when there was a attempt steal at home, and Jordan got the ball from the pitcher, put the tag down, and the game was over. So Jordan is one of those kids that I would call her a flatliner, and I'm sure every coach here knows exactly what I'm talking about, because you have some kids on your team where they get really high and they get really low. Jordan, it could be 7-0 in the first inning with us having the lead. It could be 7-0 with us not in the lead and falling behind, or it could be bottom of the 11th inning with the winning run on first base, and every time she would be exactly the same. She is such a calm kid, calm demeanor, and she brings that to everything that she does in the classroom, in the hallways, and on the athletic court. You can remember times where she hit threes late in the game. The Herculaneum game comes to mind at our place this past year. She's never fazed by the moment, I would say. She was an academic all-state kid last year as a softball player. We just learned this past week that even though there was no season, the State Association for Missouri Softball is going to honor those spring sports kids as far as spring softball goes, and she will be an academic all-state student as the 2020 season as well.
Great.
So she is one of those kids, like I said, gets it done in the classroom, and we wish her the best at MAC. The plan right now, I believe, for her is MAC, then SEMO, and then Logan Chiropractic, and chiropractor being her long-range goal as far as post-high school goes.
Well, that's fantastic to hear about Jordan, and fantastic to hear for all of the athletes as far as eligibility for the all-state academic team. Let's talk a little bit about Sarah Faust and her role in the softball team.
Very similar to Jordan. Softball is probably her number 3 sport, basketball number 1, and then track number 2. Sarah also is an all-state qualifier in hurdles last year, and she was probably going to go back to state again this year. All-district first teamer in basketball, all-district, all-conference first teamer in basketball as well. So for the girls, the first 3 girls to talk about, for this to be their second or third sport for them, and for them to still perform as well as they do, it just shows the athleticism that these young ladies have, and Sarah definitely fits that bill. I talked with Sarah when we had a uniform day past week, turning that in, and she let me know Illinois College was going to be a part of her plan next year in Jacksonville, Illinois, playing college basketball there. I conversed with her dad via email, and he confirmed that as well this past week. She's planning on studying business administration. So you've seen her on the court. She brings Jordan, we call her a flatliner. Sarah, she's the one that gets everybody going on the basketball court, and she brings that same passion to the track and also to the softball field, to say the least. Last year, Sarah was our Web of the Year, and that's an award we give out for our best fielder. Sarah had some innings at second base, had some innings at shortstop, had a .946 fielding percentage, and you look at when you're an infielder and you're only getting basically half the reps of the normal infielder, because how we do it here at Grandview is you'd have like a track day, a softball day, or last year actually we divided the days up individually. Like they would start with me and end at track, or start with track and end at softball. So for her to be able to do all the things that a second baseman has to do as far as bunt defenses and things of that nature, where it just shows how smart she is athletically, and she's able to know the situation and know what to do and then execute what you need to have happen. Sarah was our two-hitter for the most part last year. She was fourth on our team in runs with 18 runs scored. Again, much like Jordan, she was not there for every single game of our schedule, but she was there for the majority of them. Again, to have 18 runs when you only get not as many opportunities because of being a multi-sport athlete like that. Her slugging percentage was .694, which was second on our team. She had 4 triples, which was third on our team. And like Jordan, she was academic All-State last year, solid ACT and solid grade point average. And she will be academic All-State again here in 2020. And we wish her the best of luck next year at Illinois College. And they're getting a great basketball player for that school and that program out there, but they're getting an even better individual and student.
Well, we appreciate it. We've got the breaking news, Ray, there. Sarah Faust committing to Illinois College. Breaking news right here on live stream. We appreciate you sharing that with us, Don. And let's next talk about probably of the three, kind of my favorite basketball player, just because of where she is on the court and what she gets done, Haley Harlow.
Haley Harlow was one that you probably saw on the court, whether it was volleyball or basketball throughout the fall and the winter. But another thing that people may not know about Haley is that she ran cross country this year. And it was the first time that she had run cross country as a Lady Eagle. And she had one motivation, really, for running cross country. And I just talked to her dad this past week on the uniform turn-in day, and he said, man, she was so excited because I said something to her last year during practice. I said, you're a 4-sport athlete. I mean, you ever think about running cross country? I don't think we've ever had a 5-sport athlete. And from everything I found out, I believe that is the case at Grandview. And she took that little nugget, and it kind of was her motivation to add another sport. And as far as I'm concerned, I know she didn't get a chance to do track and softball this year, but we still believe that she is a 5-sport athlete at Grandview. So the first three, every one of these young ladies, actually, all 4 of these young ladies are all 3-sport or more athletes. And Haley was going to be the first 5-sport athlete. And you, like you said, she was not just an athlete that did the sport, but she excelled at the sport. First team all-district volleyball and first team all-conference volleyball. She finished 25th in districts in cross country. For someone that basically, she only went to do cross country on a day in which there wasn't a volleyball conflict. Really, they didn't do a whole lot of the off-season practice and stuff like that, but she just willed herself to be able to go out there and run 3.1 miles when she had the opportunity in her schedule to go out and do so. So, again, really heart would be a word I think that you could definitely use for Haley Harlow. As far as other accolades, I think she's one of the more versatile players we had. She played infield for us, outfield for us, and also did some pitching for us last year. She was another one that when there were track meets, sometimes she would be with us, sometimes she'd be at track last year. She was going to be one that probably had a good chance to advance out of districts in track. I think she might have had a chance to potentially be an all-district player in softball. Who knows? This is going to be something we'll just never know as far as could she have been the first all-district athlete for us in 4 sports. But we'll never know. And she's another one that's solid in the classroom. My other job, as far as assistant principal, I never see any of these young ladies, and Haley definitely fits the bill there. Last year, she had 11 RBIs, which was fifth on our team. Again, as a person that is splitting time between track and softball, to be able to apply those muscle memory skills and pitch and hit and field anywhere you had to put her. It's just she's just an amazing athlete. She is going to be going to Fontbonne University next year, and she will be playing college basketball. Basketball is her number one. Softball, I don't know where exactly it fits on the rank there, but for that to be her third or fourth sport and still be able to perform at such a high level is just unbelievable. She is going to be studying elementary education. And a quick story, they had a little fun run for cross country. And my daughter and I, we do it, and there's something going on in the little go eat a meal after it, and my daughter is crying for 2-3 minutes. I can't get her to calm down. Haley goes over there and talks to her for 30 seconds, and my daughter is calm as can be and smiles on her face. And she does the same thing at Grandview Elementary as an A-plus tutor. She goes up there and works with pre-K kids, and Mrs. Block, the teacher that works with her, says that she just has an awesome gift working with those young kids. And she's going to be a great elementary school teacher. And the kids that get a chance to have her as a teacher here in 4 or 5 years, they're going to be very lucky.
I should have called talked to her on the phone today, because I've been crying and whining about no baseball all day and softball, so maybe she could help cheer me up.
If anybody could do it, she'd be the one, that's for sure.
Well, finally, we have Zoe Snyder. She's the one of the four that I know the least a little bit about, so fill us in on Zoe's career.
Okay. Zoe, again, is another three-sport athlete for us. She picked up cross country this year because she wanted to pick up another sport to get that three-sport moniker. And then also she's been a track athlete her whole entire high school career. And she was one of those kids. I feel for all these kids, but Zoe I really immensely feel for. Every one of these coaches can probably tell you about those kids that maybe as sophomores and juniors, they didn't get a whole lot of opportunities as far as at bats. And maybe something goes on between that junior and that senior year where you see, boy, they're going to take a huge leap. I heard a couple coaches last week on this program talk very similar about situations like this. For us, we do our hitting on Wednesdays after school and before school, and I have to stagger it that way because we do share so many athletes with winter sports and other things going on. And Zoe was one that would be at that 7 a.m. session quite a bit during the off season. And you could see how much she has improved as far as her hitting. You could definitely see the strength that she had built up through the off season and being a part of strength and conditioning classes and things of that nature. In the outfield, she was making routine plays with ease. And you could just see the huge leaps as far as defense, hitting. And she was going to be one that probably was going to I had her penciled in as our left fielder game one, if we would have had a game one. And Zoe is one of those kids that just works really hard in everything that she does. And she's one of those kids also that I would call a selfless kid. She's a manager for the football team. She's a manager for the basketball team. I think she actually may have ran a camera for you guys on the Scott the Cop shootout, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe she did.
At the last event that actually occurred athletically at Grandview High School this year. And she is one that will do whatever it takes for the thing that she's involved with that moment to be the best that it can be. She's the stage manager for the play. And she was going to, I really believe, have a great season. And it's those kids you really feel for. Our first three kids, I mean, they've obviously had some success in other areas. And they were probably going to continue to have success in softball. And this was Zoe's, hopefully this was going to be her time to shine, and then she didn't get that opportunity. She is, for our school, our St. Louis Post-Dispatch Scholar Athlete, and she will be another one that will be honored as a 2020 Academic All-State kid. She is planning to go to Jefferson College. She's an A-plus student, and we'll get those first couple years paid for free. And then she's going to go to Missouri S&T. She had already been accepted by Missouri S&T. She's planning on studying mining or electrical engineering, and she is going to do great things in her life after high school. And again, I really feel for her. I feel for all these kids. I no doubt about it. I feel for all 4 of these young ladies. And I appreciate you guys taking the time tonight to honor the kids that were a part of the Grandview softball team, the Grandview baseball team, and all the other coaches here that get a chance to honor their kids as well. It's awesome that these kids will get a chance to be known for their prowess here, thanks to you and many other media outlets doing very good things to help us honor these kids.
Well, we appreciate that, Don, and it is certainly our pleasure in doing so and bringing you guys in. And thank you for so eloquently stating and reviewing the careers of these 4 obviously very bright young ladies that have great futures ahead of them. We appreciate you coming in the last 2 weeks here, Don, and I'm sure we'll see you down the road. Let's hope it's out on a baseball field or in a gym somewhere.
I hope so. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, next up, I believe Stuart is ready to go with Coach Montgomery.
Yeah, Coach Montgomery, Festus Baseball. You've got 4 seniors on your team this year. And I guess we'll start off the bat, and then we'll get into some other discussions as well. Connor Wilkinson is pitching for you and playing second base.
Yeah, that's correct. Connor was going to pitch a lot this year. Probably play some second base, maybe some third base. He really was looking like a key leader for our team. Would probably have been projected as our number 1 on the mound. He's really got a live baseball. A lot of good spin rate on his curveball. Coach Stafford's worked with him a lot on mental approach to pitching, and kind of watching him grow the last 2 or 3 years has been very rewarding on the mound and even offensively as a player. Last year offensively, he had glimpses of being, maybe one of our strongest offensive guys. I really think he would have probably batted in the middle of the order this year. Likely could have been an all-conference potential in some way. Connor's just a ball player. I mean, that's, you guys have been around a while. He's a guy that just eats and sleeps baseball. And when he came in his freshman year, I remember he and his dad, that's all he wanted to talk about was baseball. And I had him in class a couple years. And as I stated, it's kind of fun to watch him grow as a player and as a person last 3 or 4 years. Had a conversation with him on the phone a couple weeks ago. He's going to go to Southwestern Illinois College over in Illinois, which is a pretty good JUCO school on a baseball scholarship. So it's a good opportunity for him. And I think he's one of those guys that's just going to keep getting better, whether he pitches or he plays defense or hits. He can do a lot of different things. So I think he was really affected by the season being canceled. He's a guy who was really looking forward to it. Was really excited about it. I know they all were affected. They all are disappointed, but I really think he was a guy that, it was just something that he's really, he's put number 1 for a long time. And so he'll do some good things, and real proud of Connor. And we're going to miss him, his talents.
Another pitcher and also first baseman, Nolan Stafford. Tell us about Nolan.
Sure. Nolan, Nolan this year was just really motivated to contribute. Last year he got some chances on the mound. He got some chances to play first base, DH a little bit. He was really showing some leadership this year coming in. Like I stated, he contributed some last year. Nolan's one of those guys that we practiced indoors. He's like the last guy to leave. Numerous times, even this spring, he's hanging around, hitting balls off the tee. He was very motivated to improve and contribute this year. You could see it in his eyes. He's a guy that really kind of plays with a chip on his shoulder. He really believes in himself. He's got a very determined mindset. He's a guy that, you tell him he can't do something, he's going to try to prove you wrong. That's Nolan Stafford. And so I'm very proud of that. He's to have coached him. It's a shame because as a senior, he's a guy that would have got a chance to play some this year and contribute. He's very passionate about baseball, and he still like to maybe pursue something, whether it be some small college baseball opportunity in the future. And he wants to maybe pursue an engineer degree and go to a 4-year school. Nolan Stafford.
And Cole French, did he play for you last year?
Last year, Cole was our stats guy and manager. He played 9th and 10th grade baseball for our JV coaches, Coach Berger, Coach Gurno, and they had a lot of nice things to say about him. Last year, he was our manager, and he really missed it, I think. It was kind of interesting. About halfway through the year, we had some days where, suddenly Coach Stafford's got him in the bullpen working with him. He's our manager. And trying to kind of build some confidence, talk to him about pitching again. And he's a lefty guy, so his ball moves a little bit, and he got some size. He grew some over the off season. He really missed baseball, and so about over the winter, he told us he really wanted to play again, and so I was really excited for him. He's a good kid. Never says anything negative, always comes every day to work and get better. And, he's one of those guys that would have really benefited by a chance this year to get to contribute, have his family and his parents get a chance to see him play since he didn't get to play last year. So he's planning to go to Maryville University and major in sports management. So, again, really proud of Cole and watching him grow up the last 4 years.
Not often the stats guy gets to play on the field.
Right. Absolutely.
That's nice. Wyatt Daugherty. Or Daugherty. Is it Daugherty or Daugherty?
Daugherty. Yeah, Wyatt Daugherty. That's okay. Correct. Yes, sir. Wyatt last year started, I think, every game but one. About midway through the year, we moved to center field, and he was just outstanding. He running down baseballs in the outfield. He really played well defensively. He bunts the ball pretty well, runs well. He was, one of those real glimpses of some positive things that we had going last year. He really contributed quite a bit as a junior. He's a very dependable kid, very responsible. He's that guy that you ask him for some help with something, or can you meet me out the field to carry this after practice or whatever. You can depend on a guy like Wyatt. He's always going to be willing to help out and things like that. So he's very serious about baseball, very serious about winning. He loves the game. He was a guy that was really looking forward to this season. He's also a good student. You never hear him say anything or complain or anything like that. He's always there to work and do positive things. He plans to go to Menoria College, and he wants to go into a physical therapy program and wants to start down at Mac. And again, just a great kid, one of those guys that we're going to miss. That's for sure.
I was just thinking of ways to get all these guys back on the field at least one more time before they head off to college and things. But, man, as this world moves so quickly, all these guys are going to be moving on. There's really no way to get them back on the field to do that, is there?
I don't know. July 1st, Coach Allen called me today and emailed me, and we talked today on the phone. And July 1st, we may revisit camps and exhibition games and open gyms and all those things. But those are going to be decisions that are out of my hands. But I think there's a chance for some workouts this summer. Misha had stated his seniors can't participate this summer. If there's any kind of exhibition baseball, whether it be in July or anything like that. There's a chance that we get to have some kind of closure to this whole thing, whether it be mid to late summer. But obviously people are going to have to feel comfortable, and a lot of decisions going to be made that are people above me before that can happen.
Sure, and even if nobody's there, we'll broadcast it, right? Live stream STL guys will.
Absolutely,
yes.
Yeah.
Try to get a camera out there.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Well, Coach Montgomery, appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Baseball.
Thank you, Coach. Stuart, I'm going to this next part. We have a couple of more live coaches with us, and I'm going to let you choose which one you want because I'm a little more familiar with the two names from Crystal City. So do you want to take care of Dan Oliver?
Yeah. Well, let's chat with Dan. Dan, you still with us?
First of all, let's congratulate Dan on his inaugural season being undefeated in baseball.
Yeah. There you go. Good job.
Yeah. Didn't give up a single run.
And tell us about your senior, Jason. Is it Pesold? Pesold? Yeah, I knew I'd mess that up. Sorry about that.
That's
Sorry,
all right.
Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I'm a little bit of a disadvantage for Jason's sake is that I wasn't there last year, and didn't get to see how he played last year, but he played really well for us. He was a good leader. Went to practice every day with a great attitude. We did get to go to the Jamboree. He's a fine middle infielder. He's going to go to McKendree University and play over there next year. And he just did a little bit of everything for us in the the little time that we had. I mean, really, I only had a couple of weeks with him. I didn't have him in class. He didn't play football. So they said, yeah, this kid over here, he plays baseball too. And it's like, okay, But he's just a warm-hearted kid, and he works extremely hard. He gives you an honest effort every day, and I was really looking forward to seeing what he was going to do in the season. Kevin Bowers is longtime Seckman baseball coach and stuff. Was one of our coaches there this year, and Kevin and I have been friends for a long time, and he really thought Jason was going to have a good season, and I did too as well. But it just really it's a shame for everybody. I mean, I felt like with one senior, we were really excited about Jason, but we also felt like that with all the young kids we had, that getting established, getting our program started with those guys, and then just the sky would be the limit next year. And not only do you feel bad for a senior, but these young kids too. This will be affecting those guys for years to come. It probably stunted a lot of development that those kids would have gotten this year, and probably now that the Legion season is kind of be at least delayed, if not canceled. I don't know exactly, but that just stunts their growth again. And baseball is one of those sports where you just need so many reps, so many swings, so many plays, and it's just a game that's so many fine skills that if you take off and lay off, you just don't progress as fast, and so I don't know. I mean, just coulda, woulda. Just really kind of sad that the fact that we don't get to see Jason go. He went to Windsor to the Jamboree. He pitched an inning or two and had a couple of hits, and played North County, and he had a nice performance against those guys. And then we played Windsor, and he stood right in there with those guys. And they, it looked like Jeff has another good squad this year, and our small school and our guys, and we went up there and we hung in there with them a lot. And really that night I started 4 freshmen because of basketball went long, had a couple kids get sick and injuries and things, and so we had 4 freshmen playing, and we were out there competing, and largely because of kids like Jason out there keeping those young guys calm, talking to them, helping them out, and and then he gave us a spark several different times throughout those 2 scrimmages that night. So I wish I could say more about the kid, because he really, I really, in a short amount of time, I felt like we had a really good relationship building, and I was excited to see how that was going to go. And again, the other day, like we talked about earlier, he came up to school, turned in his stuff, and it was really bittersweet to see him growing and going on. At least he's going to go on to McKendree and play and have that to look forward to. But I think some of the things that the way he approached practice, the way he approached everything, the way he was so coachable, was really something that probably our young guys would have grown a lot from, being around him and seeing how he does his work every day. And, so that's an opportunity our team lost for sure. And, hopefully he'll come back and we'll get to see, what he does over at McKendree and things like that. But we definitely missed out on a great opportunity to see some special things from that guy.
So you're saying he's going to McKendree?
Yes. Yeah, he's going to go over there and play
Excellent.
baseball. I'm not really sure what he's decided on for a major, but just a great kid, and we're glad that we got the opportunity for what we got. But man, kind of feel cheated that we didn't get more too.
It's kind of interesting from a private school's perspective, because your players are coming from all over the place, and he's from Jefferson County, right? He's a Jefferson County boy.
Yeah.
So this is going to hurt for him even more, because he even knows some of the players are on the other teams, and so yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, in hindsight, you only have one. You could be like some of the other teams, have more, but still, I mean, it's a shame that he's not going to be able to play. So.
Right, and it's just yeah, we only had the one, and and the thing was, they had such a great, strong team last year. He didn't get a lot of playing time last year with that group, and this was going to be his senior year. It was going to be what kind of those years where he's probably the captain. He's the only senior,
Right.
But and it would have been a great choice even if I had 6 or 8 seniors. But he would have had a special year, and it would have been a memorable year. I mean, it's probably going to be a memorable year anyway, but not quite the way that he and I wanted it to be. So, that's sad, but it's not the end. And I think Coach Montgomery said some things, kind of that things are bigger than just the sports and the baseball and so forth. But he's going to go on. He's going to play. This won't last forever, and big things will happen for him down the road because he's that kind of a person.
Well, Coach Oliver, hey, thanks so much for joining us tonight here on this broadcast, and for St. Pius baseball and everything going on there. We hope we offer you good luck, and hopefully we'll get to play a little bit of baseball, maybe in July, like Coach Montgomery was saying.
Maybe so. You never know. I mean, we didn't think we'd be doing this either. So you never know. You never know.
If not, we'll see you at the football field, Coach.
That's for sure.
That's true. That's true.
That's for sure. I think we'll get to do that for sure.
Well, let's hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, he's been waiting very patiently this whole time, and he only has one senior, and that's Coach Eric Pomeranico. Coach, how you holding up over there?
Not too bad. I'm glad it was going like this because we are in the process of moving. So my wife and kids are unloading the trailer right now, so it worked out great.
Oh. Well, we'll try to keep you on here as long as possible then.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, Coach, you also only have one senior. You're spring senior girls softball player. It's a player that we are very familiar with here at Livestream STL, both for softball and for our basketball course, and that is Ashley Damazen. Can you tell us a little bit about Ashley?
Yeah, this is my second year back at Crystal City, but I've known Ashley since she's probably 12 years old, because when I was at Crystal City teaching, she was in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, and so I always kind of knew she was. She's the same year as my daughter, so they kind of grew up playing with and against each other for softball, and as far as Crystal City, her high school career goes, she played volleyball and basketball all 4 years, and was an all-district player for volleyball, and was part of both district championship teams for volleyball and basketball this year, and she did play tennis the last 2 years, and this year I think she saw the potential in our team, and really decided that she wasn't going to play tennis this year, and kind of give it her all for her last year, and unfortunately, like everybody else, we're just not able to complete the season.
That's a shame. Do we have any idea about as far as what Ashley's plans are for the future, Coach?
Yeah, she's actually, good thing is she's going to continue her career at East Central College. She's going to major in physical education. She wants to be a coach, and I think she's got the personality and the work ethic where I think she's going to be a great person, teacher / coach for any school that she potentially can be hired for, because this is, like I said, this was my second year, and we had a camp this year. I have Coach Rex, who's been around Crystal City for the last few years, a great guy, great coach, and he knows a lot of these younger girls, and we actually had a pretty good sized turnout, and Ashley was great with those kids. It was I kind of told her, and Andy Waits she's a junior, but I had those two. I was like, hey, this is going to be your guys' team, and they kind of, especially Ashley, kind of stepped up and took these 6th, 7th, 8th graders that we had at camp, and that right there kind of told me a lot about her personality. She's always got a smile on her face. Fortunately for me as well, if we get to play the summer select season, she's going to play for me this summer. And so, unfortunately, if I don't get her for high school, hopefully I could get her this summer, and being at a small school, it kind of hurt a little bit because, like Coach Jeffries at Grandview can kind of probably contest to is, this year I was hoping, because we did have a good freshman class, I was hoping I'd be able to put Ashley at shortstop and third base, because she's been the catcher for the last 4 years. And, I was hoping to be able to try to find somebody to fill that spot for next year. And so now, that's something that Coach Rex and I talked about. So next year is like, it's like starting completely over, because we really don't know who's going to fill those shoes, because Ashley did really well. She hit, 385 last year, 17 RBIs, and on-base percentage was .515. And, we only got to play, I think, 9 or 10 games because of all the rainouts. And that's the other thing that's kind of disappointing, because we had a lot of sponsors this year that donated money to the school. We kind of changed our infield a little bit, got that turfless material installed, and got some of those puddles and things off our fields, and a lot of these rains that we had, if it rained on a Monday, we were probably rained out that whole week. But for this year, it's a little unfortunate, but there's obviously a lot worse things that could be happening instead of just losing a season. But for these seniors, it's especially hard, because I have a daughter that's a senior, and fortunately she was able to play in the fall. But like I said, I've known Ashley for a long time, and having any of these kids, it doesn't matter where they go to school or what sport they're playing, it's hard. And even if they don't play a sport, that's a lot to lose that spring semester with proms and graduations, and just nobody knows what's going to happen with that.
Sure, it's sad all the way around, but like you said, hopefully, looking back on it, they'll understand, have the perspective of the big picture here and what's going on, and really is what amounts to historical times and living through it. But Coach, we appreciate your patience and sticking around for us tonight. Give our best to Ashley, and we hope to see you, I guess, this fall. Are you doing any fall sports at all?
Yeah, I was kind of raised. I was the last hope for that game that I did there. Nobody else was. It was kind of a last minute deal as well. But I enjoy doing that for softball games, so yeah, if you ever need me.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate that. All right, the coach Eric Poveronico. I wanted to say it one more time to see if I could get it right. So thank you very much, and we'll kick it over to Ray. Ray, what do you have for us, sir?
Hey, thanks, Coach Poveronico. I got it right, and I will definitely put you on our list. I'll put you on our list for people to call if we get into a situation where I don't have anybody to announce. So he did a great job. He really did a great job that night for Windsor. So that's Coach Eric Poveronico. We are going to actually, I've got a pre-recorded segment here, and I've got to pull up the segment here. But our final coach tonight is Coach Brian Weibel, and he's from the Crystal City Hornets as well, Crystal City Baseball. He couldn't be with us tonight, but we were able to pre-record earlier yesterday, and so this is his interview and push for his lonely senior there, Eric, or Mr. Eisenbeis, and we're going to get that right here. Hey, we're here with Coach Brian Weibel from the Crystal City Hornets baseball team. How you doing, Coach?
Doing good. How are you?
Hey, not too bad. Obviously with the 2020 spring season being cut due to coronavirus, obviously we're trying to keep ourselves busy. What's been going on with Coach Weibel?
Well, basically, I have 3 kids, so they've been keeping me pretty busy. Trying to maintain teaching virtually, online. That's an adventure in itself because half the kids do the work, half the kids don't. But I'm doing my own kids, teaching them a lot of home maintenance projects this year.
Yeah, there you go. Home maintenance seems like that's the big trend right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about. Let's talk a little bit about your lone senior here. That's going to be Mr. Eisenbeis, and obviously his season's going to be cut short of his senior year here. But we're going to talk a little bit about him. So what can we say about Blake Eisenbeis? I know him pretty well and know he's a great kid, but I'll just turn it over to you here and let you just brag on him here.
Well, you hit it right, the nail right on the head with him. He is a great kid. He's a lot of fun to coach. He's good-natured. You can tease him. Coach Pruno helps out with our practices and really helps us. And he gives Blake a really hard time, but it's all in good fun, and Blake takes it really well. So it's a lot of fun. Blake works really hard. I really saw him last year. I was the assistant last year. Saw him really improve last year as a baseball player, and it's so frustrating because you see him improve, and then his senior year, he's a 3-sport athlete. He gets to play football. They had a great basketball season, and just saw Coach Richardson did a great job with those guys and getting them to work together. And most of my baseball team is baseball players, and so you could see that attitude carry on into our practices, and Blake was the leader of that. And Blake was just working really hard, and it's just frustrating because I could see that improvement starting last year, leading up to this year, and was really hoping to get to see what he could do, and just was hoping this is going to be his breakout season for him. He was hitting the ball a lot harder. He was more competitive, and so he was just really a good leader, good-natured guy for my underclassmen.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for catching up with us. We appreciate you popping in and giving your 2020 senior all the props, and good luck to you, and we'll hope to catch you next year again.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, Ray, and I'll say real quick, I really admire what you guys do with this. I think everybody who's ever tuned into one of these, whether it's a Legion game, whether it's a high school baseball game, with basketball, football, whatever it is, I've heard nothing but tremendous feedback about Livestream STL and what you guys do and the quality of production, things like that. I would really encourage anybody who's involved in athletics throughout the county, or really anywhere in the metro area, anybody who's interested in sponsoring activities to get on board and get involved with this. I think it's added a ton to what we do here. It's added a ton to the program. You guys are a class act, and you're committed to doing things the right way, and we really appreciate that.
And we are back here. Thanks so much for watching Main Street Sports, our Seniors 2020 segment. Appreciate that. Don't forget about our wonderful sponsors. We want to thank Chris Schweigert. He's back over at the Venti Beauty Bar. Call for an appointment, 314-610-5523. That's Chris Schweigert over at the Venti Beauty Bar. Also, Tara James at Coldwell Banker Gundaker. You can still be sold while sanitizing. Give Tara James a call, 573-535-8038. Located at 502 South Truman in Festus, Missouri, 63028. And I'm going to open up the line again here. I want to say thanks so much, Stu Mack, jumping on here. And this is a little different from the radio?
It is a lot different because you have to be thinking about how good you look on the screen. If your teeth are clean and
right.
If your books are organized on the shelf correctly, and it is a lot different than in the radio. You're talking to a little tiny microphone,
right.
And a little tiny video camera. So it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me on tonight. I have my Louisville Slugger here with me.
Wow.
Betsy. She's powerized, as you can see.
Right, nice.
Betsy's powerized,
of course.
Got a couple chips in there, but really that's not my current day bat. This is my go-to bat right here.
Okay. Is that the wiffle ball bat?
That is the wiffle ball bat.
Nice.
Yes, and it's
if push comes to shove, we're going to have to be live streaming some wiffle ball tournaments or something.
I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you saw that, but Stuart jumped on it the minute I mentioned it. I'm going to have a wiffle ball out of my backyard. And he's like, "When can I come and play?" Right? So that was awesome.
You struck a chord. You put something right into my heart immediately. My heart jumped out of my sleeve. I'm like, wiffle ball where? I'm there.
Right.
I'm there.
That's great. Well, guys, thanks so much. Good show tonight, and. We might have you back on there, Stuart. We're talking about maybe doing some things. He's got the balls and the bats. How many days did it take you to organize that shelf behind you?
Actually, you saw it earlier today, and it didn't look this good. It took me about an hour or two. Yeah, it was. Now,
Goodness.
if I turn the camera around, you don't want to see that.
Yeah,
There's
right.
just stuff everywhere. So I'm not a perfectionist. This is not my whole life.
All right.
This is not a perfect reflection of everything that I.
Awesome.
But
give us some final thoughts here, Jeff.
As we talked last week after the show, this has been really hard for me. It's something that I feel proud that we're doing, and I'm happy to have the coaches come in and talk about their guys. But and I said it before, Ray, as much as we miss baseball and we miss the interactions with coaches, the players, the parents, I can't even imagine what these coaches are going through right now, because I see it, I hear it in their voice, I see it on their faces, and they're dealing with it, 10 times over what I'm dealing with it right now. And, Coach Montgomery was right. We need to keep things in perspective, but that's hard.
Yeah.
We can rationalize it all day long, but our emotional part of it, we just, we want baseball. I want baseball. I'm craving baseball. I'll probably turn on my YouTube channel in the middle of the night and watch some 7-year-old little league team in Taiwan play that's live streamed. But I'm really happy that we're able to do this. And I'm very, very happy that Stuart has joined the live stream team.
Yeah. Stuart, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I just well, equally as sad. There's no baseball happening right now anywhere. I mean, yeah, like Japanese baseball. Jeff and I guess, are staying up late watching some Japanese games or Chinese. I don't know. Do they even play baseball in China with a break? I don't know.
Oh yeah, they do. They're back at it.
Oh, they are already?
Yes. Yes.
Oh well, I guess the communists want their baseball too. Who knows? So, yeah, no, I feel bad for all these seniors. They're not able to play in their final season. That's why I was asking Coach Montgomery, and he kind of followed up on it a little bit. Can these guys get on the field before they jump off to college or any other endeavors that they're going to be doing in the future? And, him saying that, hey, we could possibly get on the field in July is very promising to me. And maybe even some of the other coaches and ADs in the area that say, hey, there's something can still happen here. We can still do something, at least to honor these guys. And, whether nobody can be there and live stream STL's there to broadcast it or any other media is there to cover it or whatever the case may be, something needs to be done and we got to do something. We'll put up a wiffle ball tournament. Let's do a wiffle ball tournament. We'll have all these kids play wiffle ball.
That's it.
Who knows?
That's it. I'm telling you, it's wiffle ball season time. You and I talked a little bit about corkball. We could bring corkball back, something like that. That'd be awesome, right?
You want to start a 2-hour show right now?
Exactly. Right on.
Yeah,
awesome.
Well, I love corkball. My gosh.
Thanks so much for being on, and we're going to wrap things up here for Ray Halbrook and all of us. Hey, just before I take out, I wanted to tell you about our Roku channel real quick. If you're interested in the Roku channel, give us a little web chat here. Check it out here. videos.tkdssports.com. That is where you get it. It's $4.99 a month. It is really, really awesome. I've had it for a couple of weeks here. It took me a little while to get used to, but once we kind of got it in here, and we're still tweaking some things here, but we appreciate TKDS Sports for allowing us to have that on there, and so you'll be able to watch that on your big screen. And so check that out. And also, if you're interested in sponsoring with us, we will have some things coming up this summer. We're looking for sponsors for all these different things that we're going to be able to come out to. I've got a very super duper special that I can't even talk about, but I can tell you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we will be somewhere, but I can't tell you where it's at because I've been sworn to secrecy. But plus, if I give
President
it out,
Trump
it's not President Trump.
We're doing a live interview with President Trump.
No, we are not. Absolutely not. So,
okay,
I'm not big enough for that there. So, but going back to our sponsors, we are looking for sponsors here. 314-852-4398, or you can email us over at livestreamstl@outlook.com. $25 right now for all of our shows. And so you can't beat that right now. $25, the COVID-19 special. So give us a call and sponsor with us. And
especially now, Ray, I got to jump in real quick on that because as things are reopening, businesses, it only takes $25 to let people know that, hey, you're out there and you're available for business.
Right.
Are you open completely? Are you open halfway? Do you have special rules and regulations? Let us know. We can communicate that to our audience much broader, and our shows are being picked up by even larger organizations as well. So that's an opportunity for you to really get the word out and make an impact.
Yep.
You
mentioned that. Yeah, you mentioned that, and we'll say thanks so much to Arch City Media. They've been premiering and replaying some of our stuff up in St. Louis. So we appreciate the folks over. Do that again there, Jeff. They didn't see that. So thank you, Arch City Media. Come stay. Yeah. So there you go. But for all of us here at Livestream STL, we're going to take out of here. Don't forget, Tuesday we will be on back here again with the Coach's Box. Call it like we see it. We're going to bring things back in, and just it'll just be us five, and we'll just be talking a little bit about what's going on with us here. So all of us here at Livestream STL, show me that bat again real quick. There it is. I like it. We're going to say so long. Have a great week. We'll see you Tuesday.